Quantum physics. Quantum physics is an amazing science for analytical people who want proof that we're all one. Study quantum physics. Quantum entanglement is a concept that I don't have time to get into, but it's amazing. Come on my talk sometimes and I'll tell you all about that. Einstein proved that we're all one. And here it is. This is the most famous equation in history. If you really look at it, there's a fabulous book, E equals mc squares, that analyzes all aspects of that. But anyway, energy equals mass. Mass equals energy. Equations are reversible. It's all energy. Everything's different forms of energy. Now we're going to do a little spiritual alchemy. Okay, we're going to play a game where we've got these concepts that I've thrown at you: perception, energy, oneness, practical, metaphysics, quantum. Okay, the jumbling around in our heads. So let's do some spiritual alchemy. There's the spiritual alchemical pot. We're going to put all those concepts and names and words and letters into it and cook it and render it and see what comes out. Wow. Check it out. PQM. Practical, quantum, metaphysics. And we've got 3 axioms. Practical axiom is all is perception. We can use that every day in our lives. The quantum axiom is all is energy. And the metaphysical axiom, all is one. Okay, you study any deep metaphysical studies and you'll learn all this. Now, it's easy to memorize all 3 of these by a mnemonic, which is just Poe, P-O-E, like Edgar Allan Poe. And that comes out to perception of one. It's a sentence. Perception of one energy. So simple. Just remember, perception of one energy. Now, all this is fine and dandy, but there's still something very important missing. And what is that? We're trying to raising our consciousness throughout the planet right now in these days. So the question I asked myself is, why isn't it spreading faster? What could be done to spread it faster? What could be done that would spread oneness consciousness? We need a visual perception tool. What would a oneness symbol look like? So here's a quote from Joel Premack, who wrote the book, A View from the Center of the Universe. Symbols are the way to grasp the universe. They free us from the limitations of our 5 senses, which evolved to work in our earthly environment. Symbols are far easier to remember than the long logical argument or a mathematical equation. So you don't have to remember or study practical quantum metaphysics unless you want to come and it's interesting you. All you have to do is connect with a symbol. But what would that symbol be? We've got symbols all over the place in our lives. There's symbols for Christianity. There's a symbol for Judaism. This is, by the way, a sacred symbol that's much more than just a symbol for Judaism. I took a class for 4 hours just on that symbol alone. There's the symbol for Islam. We have logos for companies. Obviously, probably the most famous one is the Apple symbol. But we don't have a symbol for oneness. How could that be? There's symbols, they're mathematical symbols. Now here's a really interesting symbol. What does that represent? Love, huh? What kind of love? Unconditional love or human love? Exactly. That represents human love. Now, I saw that and I looked at it and I said, okay, what does the real heart look like? How did they get from that to that? And what's that point all about? And then I realized the pun. Human love, there's always a point. I'll love you if you're this or that. If you're not this or that, there's always a point to it. Get the point? So, but it's a very interesting symbol, but it needs to be changed. And then there's this symbol. This one is, it has many names because it's so amazing. It's called the Fibonacci curve, the golden mean, the God curve, the God ratio. It's got all kinds of memes. There's a whole book just on that symbol. And I looked at that symbol, and I saw something interesting. It looks like almost half a heart, right? There's something sacred going on here. I put another one next to it. And imagine putting those close together. You have a heart without a point. That's the symbol for unconditional love. We now have a symbol for unconditional love. Then there's a symbol. Anybody read Dan Brown's book, The Da Vinci Code? He talks about the circumpunct in that book. How many of you caught that? It's a circle with a point in the center. That's a symbol for God, or the deity, or the whole universe, or whatever name you want to give it. Those are just labels and symbols too. So take the circle with a point in the middle, and take those two hearts and combine them. You get something a little complicated that looks like that. You see, you've got two of the hearts, as above, so below, facing down. They create this kind of infinity sign. But there's another symbol that we missed out on that's very important. That's the yin-yang. Remember when I did the karate thing? The yin energy, the yang energy. You combine, but that represents duality. We want to raise our consciousness above duality consciousness to oneness consciousness. But at the same time, remember both? So that's going to be in the symbol too. So here we have the yin-yang, which is, by the way, it's called the daijitsu, is the name of that. We call it yin-yang. The circumpunct, the Fibonacci curve, and the infinity sign, all amazing symbols. Now let's do some sacred alchemy, spiritual alchemy again. Let's put all those into that spiritual alchemical pot and see what it renders. See what kind of symbol the universe is telling us to use for the oneness symbol. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the universally accepted, hopefully, eventually, oneness symbol. Okay? And if you focus on that, and you really get the energy of it, it's inside all of us, then all the rest is just words and labels, and it's just, that's what you can focus on, and eventually you'll get it. Now, what this will lead us to, when we all connect, more people in the world, there's the 100th monkey syndrome that you could look up if you haven't heard about it. It's going to lead us to this. One is our next evolution.